Hey, did you know that with channel redeems, they not only have to be through actual channel redeem with Streamerbot, you can make a channel redeem and then have it triggered by also chat from a VIP and a subscriber, and also from the channel redeem, truly allowing you to create some very memorable and fun moments. But also, it doesn't stop there. Did you know that even when you start your stream in OBS, that can also be a trigger to do a bunch of different actions? Yeah, there's a lot of things here you can do with triggers with Streamerbot, and I'm going to get stuck into how you can create multiple triggers and multiple sub actions. So let's get stuck into it. All right, guys, so now you're coming over to my super advanced diagramming tool, which is also known as MS Paint. You saw this image earlier though. You saw it with a previous video where I basically talked about one trigger and one sub action and just the core mechanics of what an action is with inside Streamerbot. So again, we have our action container, and in this example, I'm using 2 triggers and 3 sub actions. Now, I'm only just visually representing here what you can do. It's not the limit, okay? You can have more than one trigger. You can have multiple different sub actions. In fact, you can have one trigger that executes multiple sub actions, okay? You don't necessarily need to have what I've got here. This is not a hard number. This is just for the sake of an example. In this example though, what we're going to be doing is we're going to have a channel redeem, which I'm going to show you how I make a channel redeem for Twitch. And then I'm also going to, on top of that, make a chat command that's only executable, or it's only recognized by the bot for VIP subscribers and moderators. Just normal members or to trigger this channel redeem. So the only way they can execute it is using their points. So if we call one here, or the one on the left here, the channel redeem, and let's make it purple so that we know that it's a Twitch only thing, because we could make this trigger also in chat to be done by over on YouTube as well, or other places, but we could limit its use over here on Twitch by channel points. So for the sake of it, I'm going to use red to describe the just a chat one. Okay, so this is uniquely to the chat, but when people do it over on Twitch and the bot's listening for that, it's only going to be, like I said, VIP subscribers and moderators. Okay, so first of all, the trigger gets listened to for the channel points, which I'll show you how that all works. It's going to then kick off this sub action, and then this sub action. It then executes everything. Everything is done. Okay, all of this is done, all of it. Okay, the same thing will happen over here on red when chat, VIP subscribers or moderators execute sub action, that sub action, and that sub action. They also get to do all of this based on this trigger. Okay, so that's effectively how it works. Very simple, but that's the logical flow of how this all works. And so now you understand that, which is very similar to what we had in the previous video. We're now going to do that again here in Streamerbot. So let's go over to Streamerbot now, and I'll show you how that all works. All right, so we're in Streamerbot now. Now we're back in the actions area. We've got training socials. That's what we did previously. You can see our previous one. We're going to take it a step further now. We're going to make a new one. And we're also going to make a new group just to show you that there's 2 different groups here that you can have. So let's go training and call this channel redeem. Okay, so we got that first one. It's still part of that group because we're actually, when I right clicked it, I put it part of that group, but that's okay. You can just quickly go here and then just edit that and go channel redeems like this. Now, what would be the name for it? Let's call it, say, Danos is awesome. All right, only certain people can do this. We don't need to make another group name there. And look, we're going to leave this. We're not going to touch any of these sorts of things because we're only making a very simple command, but we're just actually having different triggers now getting kicked off for it. So let's have a look at how that works. All right, so let's filter again. Just wait for it to load. I do have a lot of actions. All right, so now we've got we can see here in training that channel redeems social. And this is again why I do the grouping and do the names that I always have at the start, because then I can see everything that's related specifically for this type of command or this series of actions that I want to achieve. All right, So making the first trigger, again, we first need to start off by creating, well, we could create a sub action. I have mentioned before, you don't need to create a trigger for a sub action because you can actually manually execute it through a few other ways, which we'll get to in a later video. However, in this situation, we're actually going to build it off both a chat command and also off Twitch. So we already know the first one. So I'm going to get the first one over and done with because we already know this one. You go in here and I'm going to call it, because I like to do exclamation mark whenever I know it's a command that's executed from the chat, which pretty much all of them are, but they don't always need to be. So we're going to call this one Danos is awesome. Okay. And then it's going to be Danos is awesome. Okay. Simple, very simple. And we're going to say though, this time that only people are allowed to do it are moderators and VIPs. We could also do it this way, deny all those. So basically where it starts as, when it starts out with this on the left, and then obviously we moved across. So you got two ways to do it, but the idea is obviously you can be a little bit granular. So for example, we could just say only VIPs could do it. Okay. What we're going to do in this situation, we're going to say only these 3 awesome members of our channel can do this task or do this action. We want to still ignore the bot account because we don't want the bot doing it itself. We're not gonna play with any of the settings because they're a little bit more advanced. Again, we're gonna keep things very simple. Global cooldown. I mean, you could make it if you want, but for the sake of this testing, it's obviously it's not gonna be done. I would probably say that you still want to keep it's good to keep a global cooldown of 30 seconds though. Sources. Again, we want to both listen to YouTube and we want to listen to Twitch if we want to make this apply, but this is actually going to be only a Twitch thing. I did mention before we could have it as YouTube, but we're not going to do that because it's a bit hard to replicate showing that here. I'm only going to basically show you the channel, but you could effectively have this same thing triggered basically just from YouTube. But because we're using permissions, it's just a lot easier if you don't include YouTube. So let's keep with Twitch there. We could even make it a whisper. We could react to it based on whispers. Again, more advanced things that I'm not going to get into in this video. So we've got the channel command there. All right, so now we've made that trigger basically being triggered just on the chat. We know that one already. What we're also going to now do is create a trigger based on a channel redeem. So that's a Twitch channel redeem. If you don't know what they are, go look into that, but I'm not going to explain that here. This is a little bit more an advanced course. So most people who will have been using or want to use Twitch Streamerbot, they probably know about how to make channel redeems. So let's go here, have a look at how we would do that. Now there's a whole bunch of things here in there. It looks like it could be here in channel redeem, channel gold, channel reward is what you're actually looking for. So you can go through all of these and you can see all the different things you can do. Like you can already see how powerful this is, how many things you can already do. So we're gonna go here, reward redemption. Now, normally it had to be, you go create it somewhere else or you go create it through Twitch. It actually can recognize ones that are created exclusively through Twitch, but I would recommend if you are gonna be using this bot a lot more, that you actually create many of the channel redeems that you have through Streamerbot where possible, except for maybe some sound ones, okay? So I'm going to create my reward. I'm going to call it Danos is awesome. And this is what people can actually use in my channel. And so it's going to be starting off enabled. You could pause it. Again, there's some pretty cool things you can do to enable and disable and pause it and all that sort of stuff with inside of Streamerbot. We're not going to get to that. Testing and learning how to use Streamerbot. This will tell me I am awesome. Is it lying? Maybe, possibly. Most definitely. Anyway, we got a cost. I mean, we could say here 1,000 if we want to, 100, 1 billion. I don't know. We could make up any kind of number. And also you can ask it for user input, which we know is that basically when they try to execute that channel command, they're basically, or channel redeem, they're going to get a message prompt come up and it's going to get posted into the chat, which is really cool. You can actually get it to do a random color, or you can do a color drop on a particular color that you like. And you can say how many max per stream, uses per stream, all the kind of stuff you already had from the Twitch menu. You get to do it here, of course. And a little bit further though, you can persist it, and you can also create a channel reward group. Now that's a bit more advanced when I go into talking about Twitch channel rewards and all the different things you can do and how you can layer them. but we're not going to get into that for this in this one. We're going to keep it out. We're not going to make a group. We're just going to leave that for now. So I'm just going to create this channel redeem. It's called Danos. It's awesome. All right, so now we've created those two triggers. We've got a channel command and we've also got a channel redeem within Twitch. Now we need to create some sub actions to do something with those triggers. The first thing we want to do probably is we want to send a message to the channel. Okay, let's go say an announcement to the channel, because this is a very important thing, of course, to make sure that everyone knows about this. Danos is awesome. How about that? There we go. But you saw me use favorites, and I mentioned it last video that you can save them here. Well, yes, you can. It's very, very, very easy. You just right click on the action you've just used and either go favorite or unfavorite. All you have to do, favorite, unfavorite, favorite, unfavorite. It's very complicated, isn't it? All right, that's how you do the favorites. That's how you also then make a sub action, but that's only one sub action, isn't it, Danos? Didn't we say there's 2 triggers and 3 sub actions? Yes, I did. All right, so let's add another one. We'll also say over in YouTube as well that Danos is awesome. Now we're only reacting, remember, to channel messages from Twitch, yes, but we can also send it to where? YouTube. So we're going to send it over to YouTube. Danos is awesome. So we're also sending a message to YouTube from that. All right, so now we've created those 2 sub actions. Basically, send an announcement to the Twitch channel, and we're also going to send a message to the YouTube channel. These are executed, as we know, from the channel rewards and also the channel command. Next thing we need to do is make that 3rd sub action. Now this is where things get a little bit more fun. It's going to be slightly more advanced, not too much more advanced, but for those people who use OBS, predominantly, we all know what is required to set up an OBS scene. Obviously sources. One of those sources is actually GDI text. So we're actually going to prompt a GDI text to come up on the stream effectively, or rather unhide it, because here's what I prepared earlier. All right, so we've created these 2 triggers. We now have 2 sub actions here as well. We're right at the end here now, guys. This is the final sub action we're going to create. Well, maybe not, maybe a little bit more, but we only had the 3 sub actions that I gave you in that diagram earlier. And this is all we really need to do, is one more sub action, which makes it, I think, a little bit more fun for you guys. Now, I've created over in OBS. Anyone who knows how OBS works, you've got scenes and then you've got sources within them. Well, I've created a GDI text that's going to get prompted when people execute this channel redeem, or they put the command in the chat. So the chat is basically, it's going to prompt this above here right now. Danos is awesome. Okay. The next thing is we need that source to be seen, because normally we don't want it there the whole time we're streaming, right? Well, you can actually get OBS once these things have happened to also open up or hide the change the visibility state. And the visibility state is going to go from hidden to visible. Whoa, pretty crazy stuff, right? So we're actually going to say that we want it to go visible, because it's going to start off by default hidden. So this is now going to, once we trigger this command over here in the chat, as I'll show you right now, Danos is awesome. You'll now see it in here display. Look at that. It just popped up. So we got Danos is awesome. So from those 2 triggers, we've now executed these 3 sub actions, including interacting with OBS, not just Twitch and YouTube. We've now added a 3rd thing, which is OBS. Okay. Very easy to do. Now, this is just one thing. This is just turning it to visible. What if you wanted to actually change the text as well? Can you do that? You can. Now, you could create a whole nother separate action and then trigger that whole thing to happen within here. But what we're going to do in this situation, we're actually just going to edit we're going to edit that GDI text. So we're going here to OBS, and then we're going to go sources, and then we're going to go set GDI text, and we're going to say Danos is not awesome. All right, so that's what we're going to set. Now we're actually going to just test this out because it's already going to be visible. So nothing's going to change. All we're going to see is that that text gets updated. So let's run that in the chat right now. Danos is awesome. Oh, well, no, it just said that up there. Oh, that's not very nice. So there you go. You could also change the GDI text and manipulate something that's happening inside of OBS basically. And you'll see that I also made a spelling mistake too there. I did that on purpose just to show you that you can completely manipulate this text. That I literally did that. I didn't do that through OBS. I didn't have another source come hidden, or I'm not playing with it. I'm doing this right inside of this Streamerbot. So that's how awesome this is, okay? You can see that even though the source is the same, that's again proving what I said. I edited and I'm using that source. I basically edited that source. Now, once we're finished with it too, I can also go and hide it. You saw that I could do that before with the visibility state. We're actually going to set it to hidden now, and we're going to finish it all off and wrap it all the way up. Okay, there we go. So let's now do that all again, and we'll make sure it goes to hidden. Danos is awesome. Oh, look at that. And it went straight to hidden. That's kind of annoying though, right? We don't want it to hide straight away. You're right. We don't want it to hide straight away, but how do we fix that? Well, as another advanced thing here we're doing, again, these are a few more advanced things. You didn't need to know about all this. You could have kept it simple based on those three. Then you would have to manually hide it, right? But I'm showing you a little bit extra just for a bit more fun. So we go to our call. We want to actually delay. We could actually do a few other logics. We could also create some timers. There's a few different things here, but we're just going to keep it very simple. We're going to say 3 seconds, or it's always in milliseconds, this, by the way. And you can actually randomize it, which is pretty fun. You can do some pretty cool things with that too. Keeping it simple though, we're just going to delay for 3 seconds, and then we're going to say we want this hidden. So we're going to change the order. So just remember that there's an order for sub actions, which is very important, especially when you start layering sub actions within sub actions within sub. Yeah. Anyway, I won't get into that right now. So we're going to put the delay straight after it's gone visible. The text has been made visible and edited, and then we're going to hide it again after that, and then it's ready to be rerun. So since it's already finished, we know that the text is hidden because you can't see it right now while I'm talking. Now we're going to do it one more time, and you're going to see it then disappear as well. Danos is awesome. And it's gone. There you go. That shows you how you can do multiple actions for multiple triggers. We can keep layering on top of these triggers. We could even add in stuff from OBS itself. We could even say that when the scene is changed from going from, say, be right back, even, you could do that. Or that as soon as OBS is connected, it says this and updates all of this. Not only does it have to be executed from these things, you can have multiple. So you start to see what I said earlier, that it's really limited by your imagination. So lots of really, really cool things you can do. I would recommend trying this out. This has been a lot of fun sharing just this one example. We're going to go on to the next video and talk about some even more advanced things. And we're actually going to start linking the Elgato Stream Deck, because Elgato has some great functionality with Streamerbot. Okay, so that's the next step that I want to take you, because I find that managing my streams with the Elgato Stream Deck to be vitally important to how it can flow so nicely. And so I thank you for watching this video, making it this far. If you really did like this, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. And please hit like and subscribe. Would be really, really amazing if you could also please do that. Also, please share it around, tell other people, help them to learn and improve their streams and take it to a whole nother level with this amazing and free tool. Thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you there on the next one. See you guys.